So if you missed my live feed yesterday, then you missed a reveal of a major key that I recently added to my collection. This revelation, however, has prompted several people to reach out to me via YouTube and also Instagram asking for questions or advice around where and how I negotiate these deals. So I decided to record a video to provide you guys with a little bit of insight into how I approach it, with the hope that you might benefit from some of my mistakes and also some of my learnings. I also have a cautionary tale for you. So if you want to know what I'm talking about, stay tuned to this video. Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my videos. In this video, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about my recent acquisition, which I'll show you in just a couple of moments. But this acquisition prompted several people to reach out to me and kind of ask questions around how I go about looking for books, identifying books and negotiating books. So I wanted to record this video to kind of help out just a little bit. My hope, again, is that you guys can learn something from my mistakes, from my successes, etc., etc. So there are several places that I go to identify books. One of them, of course, is the most obvious, and it's eBay. I use eBay a ton. And if you look on eBay and you search on eBay, people will often sell a book with a best offer. I am a huge fan of the best offer. I am not a fan of auctions per se, because I find myself sometimes getting a little excited, a little engaged, and tend to bid a little bit more than what I should for a particular book. So the buy it at this price or best offer are two ways that I like to handle it. So with the best offer, what I'll do is I'll first go and do my research on the book. I'll look at the grade, I'll look at the condition, I'll look at RegieCollects, for example, to see how books are selling and what they're selling for and what the most recent sales are. I'll also look on sold items on eBay to see, what's moving in real time, and that will give me some idea of what a book is actually selling for. Depending upon what I see there versus the asking price for the book, I may decide to pay that amount, bid that amount, or to do a best offer. And sometimes I will give the asking price a big haircut off of what I'm actually bidding. But instead of just sending a lowball offer to someone, I also like to put a message in there. And when I send these offers, the message articulates my rationale for my bid. So again, hearkening back to the video that I did yesterday, there is a disconnect between the value of this book and the current asking price for the book. And so when I did my research, I sent a message to about 7 people saying, here's what I'm willing to pay. I know you're asking this, but here's what I'm willing to pay. And I'm basing this price, this bid, on the data that I see. And 6 people passed on my rationale and my bid, which is perfectly fine, right? They are entitled to get whatever they can get for the books that they own. 1 person bid. And you only need 1, right? The guy looked at my message. He looked at my rationale. He responded back. You seem like a straightforward person. It seems like you really want this book. I have several other people that are in the ballpark of what you're willing to what they're willing to pay. And we just had a back and forth about why I was bidding that, how I felt about it, asking questions about the book and the condition of the book to make sure I understood what I was bidding for. And we came to an agreement. It was an agreement that I think we both could live with. It was a fair amount of money for him, and it was a fair price for me to pay for such a great book. And that's just an example of how it goes extremely well when it works. So again, the best offer on eBay is a great way to identify a book. Another resource that I use is OfferUp and Let Go. These are 2 apps that I've downloaded from the App Store, and they are basically consumer to consumer exchanges. And you can actually search by zip code, you can search a geography, you can search within a radius for certain things that you're looking to buy. My wife sold mulch. She literally sold mulch from our backyard that people had to rake up and haul away. She sold it on OfferUp. We sold, as in gave away, plums from a tree once because we had too many plums. So yeah, you can use it for silly stuff like that, but you can also use it to search for comic books. And you can type in, Spider-Man, X-Men, comic books, comic collection, whatever it is that you want to search for. You just type it into the search field and it'll tell you the offers that are available to you. And I've actually purchased single books, stacks of books, and entire collections off of these two websites from people right here in my local area. I've also sold a ton of books. So you guys know, if you buy a collection from someone, there are things that you want to keep and there's things that you don't want to keep. And instead of letting the books that I didn't want accumulate, I turned around and sold them. And I offered them up for a fair price on OfferUp and Let Go. And I've met some wonderful people that have come to my house and picked up books from me. Then there are some learnings there in the sense that people will say that they're going to show up and don't show up. People will show up and then try to negotiate a lower price than what you negotiated prior to. So there are some learnings there, and there are some tips, right? So for me, I try to be very clear, very straightforward, what I'm selling, why I'm selling it, what I will take and what I don't take. And I remind people that I like punctual people, right? And that things will be sold to the person that shows up for the price that is stated, right? So I try to be very, very clear to avoid any type of confusion. And again, I've bought a lot of books and I've sold a lot of books via these two websites. If you haven't checked them out, if you haven't downloaded them, I encourage you to do so because I think they're great resources. So in addition to those things, I've purchased books off of Facebook. I recently picked up a Black Panther #1 and Uncanny X-Men #400 because I didn't have that in my collection from a guy for like $5 each off of Facebook. I've also purchased books and collections off of Craigslist. And here is where my cautionary tale comes in. So one day I am searching Craigslist and I see Amazing Fantasy number 15, right? Everyone's grail book. I see the book is a fair price. I send a text message, the text message is returned, and I'm going back and forth. I'm in it. I'm going back and forth with the seller negotiating the terms for the purchase of this AF-15. I talk to the person about what I'm going to pay, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to send the money. I talk with them about what they're going to do, how they're going to send the book to me, et cetera, et cetera. And this is over a couple of hours that we're having this negotiation that started really early in the morning. And it was decided that I was going to use PayPal to send the money to this person. And I tried to protect myself doubly, right? I used PayPal. I didn't send it via friends and family, but I had the PayPal protection. I also used my credit card instead of my debit card like I typically do for purchases because I wanted a second level of protection. Not that I felt like anything was bad. I just wanted to make sure that I was protecting myself and my hard-earned money. So I ended up sending the money to this person. And within 2 hours, they were supposed to get to the post office and actually send the book and send me the confirmation number, the tracking number, so that I could follow the book. And the 2 hours goes by and I don't hear from the person. Another hour goes by. I send a text message. Hey, what's going on? Just want to make sure that you are able to make it to the post office today. No response. Some more time goes by. I send another text message. Hey, so what's the deal? Some more time goes by. I pick up the phone. I call the person because I have their number and there's no response. So at this point, I'm like, I'm done. So I call the credit card company. I have a conversation with them and they basically inform me that I have to go through PayPal first, right? And that if I can't get resolution through PayPal, then I can come to them. So I do that. I jump on PayPal's website. I finally find the dispute resolution section and I read about how to do a dispute and I actually complete the dispute resolution. And there's time that has to go by, right? So you have to submit it. The person has to respond to it in a certain amount of time. And so I allow the person to respond. And before they responded, they actually sent me a message and said, hey, I don't know what happened. I felt a little uneasy about sending the book, so I decided that I wasn't going to send it. So I'm like, hey, no problem, I get it, no big deal, right? Just say that in the dispute resolution center, and it'll all be good, right? So the person does that, and then PayPal, after a certain amount of time, basically says that they have ruled in my favor and that they will refund the money. So everything goes back. The person then immediately sends me a message and says, hey, can we do this deal the right way? And I'm thinking to myself, do it the right way. The right way was I send you the money, you send me the book, right? Anything beyond that is not the right way, right? The fact that we had to go through some kind of dispute resolution automatically disqualifies you. So to this day, I don't know whether this person was running a scam. I don't know whether this person was nervous about the transaction. I honestly don't know. I don't regret my decision to enter into the deal, and I do not regret my decision to end the transaction. Would I do it again? Potentially, because I was trying to be smart about it, and I had a backup plan, right? I had a plan, and I had a backup plan, and a backup to that. So I was smart in that sense. So I don't regret it. Would I do it again? Probably. I would maybe ask a couple of more questions, maybe pick up the phone and try to talk to the person. But at the end of the day, we don't know whether that person was running a scam or not, So it is what it is, but I think that it is a cautionary tale for people to say, or for people to hear, that if they try to get books this way, that they should be smart about it. They should think through it. They should ask the right questions. They should take measures to protect themselves and their hard-earned money. There may be one of you watching this video right now that is like, I got that AF-15. And if you did, you are a better person than I for dealing with that seller. And I am a little jealous. But that is neither here nor there. So those are just a couple of the resources that I use. One last one is, of course, Instagram. The Instagram is full of solid sellers that are trying to avoid the eBay fees. And in fact, sometimes what I'll see is I'll see a book being sold on Instagram, and I'll see the same book being sold for a higher dollar amount on eBay. And that's being done because of the eBay fees. And so even in those situations, what I do is I message the person and say, hey, I see you've got this out here. I want to buy the book, but based upon what I'm seeing, here's what I'm willing to pay. And sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. I actually purchased my Hulk 181 5.5 signature series signed by Stan Lee from a guy on Instagram. And I actually bought the book, sent the money via friends and family, bought the book in about 15 minutes and had no issues with that transaction. I bought another book, $20. The guy supposedly sent the book. I never received it. Supposedly it was returned to him. Who knows? He issued me a refund for my $20. All is right with the world. And again, things happen. Maybe he sent the book and it was returned to him. At the end of the day, we take risks. And the question is, how smart are you about the risks that you take? So hopefully this video helps some of you out there. I've definitely learned some lessons. First, to turn off my cell phone whenever I do a video because it is ringing in my ear. But definitely some lessons have been learned. So if you did not see my live stream yesterday, that is okay. I am going to show the book that I picked up. And again, this was a book that I identified, and I did exactly what I just told you guys that I normally do, which is to have a discussion and a negotiation with a seller. And this seller happened to believe that I was somebody that honestly wanted this book, and he sold it to me for a fair price. And now this baby gets to sit with me for some time while I stare at her. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this video. As always, thank you in advance for any comments that you may make and any thumbs up that you leave me.